kitchen. I assure you. No,
I'm sorry.
I promise you. Mr. Hartwood is nowhere near my kitchen, and neither should you be. Don't make me kick you out of this house.
Sorry.
Now get out!
Yeah. This can't be real. This talisman brought me back from the French Quarter in the blink of an eye. If Jeremy can travel so easily, then he could be hiding anywhere, even Teruya. If he can do it, so can I. I just need to figure out how the talisman works.
Saw your notice in the boiler room. You should know Mr. Chance won't be coming back. I got no business being in there myself, but you can take a valve from the wine cellar if you want to try to stop the steam pouring out. Be careful.
Paul, you're right about the plates on the boiler and the clock. They have been sabotaged, and I think I know who did it. They have something to do with Jeremy's episodes and how he seems to disappear at night. Right now, it's important that you keep an eye out for any of the pieces. I want to find out if I can repair the plates. Let me know if you find any of them. Lottie.
Tell Lottie to take a look at the well in the kitchen garden. Dr. Elmore Lee Gray is Desetto's chief doctor. Accounting and all administrative work is handled by me, Paul Waits. Magdalena Thompson, or Mags, is responsible for the household. Jean-Baptiste and Charlotte Tabois are responsible for keeping the guests' medical regimens in check. Finally, Jack Chance is our gardener, who can occasionally be seen in the conservatory, but is for the most part busy outside. There are currently 6 guests at Desetto. Malcolm McCarthy and Ruth Tallant reside on the first floor. Jeremy Hartwood, Elisabetta Perosi, Grace Saunders, and of course Cassandra Beauregard live on the second floor. Cassandra Beauregard, the beloved author. Very exciting, isn't it? What do you want to put down for reason for admission?
What her agent told us. Cassandra suffers from writer's block and needs to finish her moving picture script before the end of June. Mr. Chardot suggests Cassandra's heavy use of barbiturates is holding her back and risks ruining her career.
And how should we summarize her personal history?
Let's keep it short. Cassandra Beauregard is a beloved crime author who managed to pull herself out of poverty and into stardom. 5 years ago, she tried killing herself by jumping off a balcony. The incident left her a cripple, and now relies heavily on her wheelchair.
And for diagnostic impressions?
Cassandra suffers chronic back pain following her suicide attempt. She self-administers morphine to keep herself ambulant, but has become addicted and the desired effect is now lost. The drug abuse clouds her mind, and she is unable to focus on real life. To save herself from this insight, she instead makes up stories to fill out the gaps in her own thought process, resembling the Korsakoff syndrome.
Oh, bravo, Doctor. How will you treat her?
First of all, she needs to be weaned from her drug addiction, and hopefully it will resolve her compulsive lying. Then look into permanently numbing her pain in her back through surgery. Finally, deal with her suicidal thoughts.
Fantastic. With such a short time before June, I really hope she gets better soon.
We will do what we can.
Grace Saunders, 11 years old. Reason for admission?
The mother insists on strict supervision by a proper gentleman to avoid further perversion of Grace's adolescence.
Personal history?
Grace's family possesses modest wealth and status. Her childhood seems ordinary, spending most of her time with private teachers and family friends. Grace's father recently passed away, leaving her mother the sole caregiver.
And diagnostic impressions?
Grace has trouble dealing with her father's death. She is willingly suppressing her feelings on the matter and isn't properly acknowledging the trauma she suffered.
Any planned treatment?
Grace needs nothing out of the ordinary. She simply needs parental guidance. Eventually, we can work on her feelings toward her father.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll finish the paperwork and get her installed. Malcolm McCarthy, 54 years of age. Reason for admission?
McCarthy admitted himself to Derceto, stating simply that he needs some damn rest.
And personal history?
McCarthy claims he used to work as a lawyer in Baton Rouge, but says he can't go into details because of some legal dispute. His background remains largely a mystery, except for the occasional clue that he drops in conversation.
Huh. And diagnostic impressions?
McCarthy is an anxious man and an alcoholic. He often tells half-truths due to some deep-seated inability to trust other people.
And how will you treat that?
McCarthy will take some time to open up. Spending time with Jack's dog or the child should be good for him. Their harmless nature will help build his sense of trust.
Thank you, Doctor. Elisabetta Perosi, 33 years old? What should I put down as reason for admission?
Well, Perosi broke into Derceto and was found wandering the grand parlor. She was confused and suffered partial amnesia. She insisted she belonged here and offered to pay for her stay.
Right. What do you make of her story?
Perosi claims to have been a member of the Astarte artist colony some 20 years ago, a claim that seems contrafactual due to her young age. She looks to be and even thinks she is 33 years of age. That would make her a child at the time. It seems fair to say that Perosi's story is untrue, deliberately so or not.
Diagnostic impressions? Do you have anything?
Perosi's story is peculiar because she retracted her story about the artist colony. She no longer claims to be the same person as Elisabetta Perosi. However, my staff's research has confirmed there was a Perosi at that time who was in her early 30s.
I suppose this case will take some time to investigate. How will you go about it?
I wanted to contact the real Perosi, but it seems the whole colony disappeared one night. September 29th, 1915, during a hurricane. I will have to take it slow and figure out what this spell of impersonation could have been.
Oh, I'm sure it will all clear up eventually. Thank you, Doctor. Ruth Talon, 29 years of age. Reason for admission?
Ruth's father wishes that his daughter be removed from New Orleans nightlife for the foreseeable future. He fears that her overly free spirit is tarnishing the family's reputation.
Sounds simple enough. Personal history?
Ruth comes from considerable wealth. Her family owns several hotels and restaurants. Unlike the rest of the family, her sense of adventure has taken her around the world, including France during the Great War as a photojournalist. The last decade, she has provoked many rumors of being a debauched flapper, bordering on nymphomania.
And diagnostic impressions?
Despite her father's frivolous reasons for her to be admitted, Ruth does seem to provide an interesting case. She is refreshingly open and doesn't shy away from talking about her life during the war or her continuous celebration after returning to the States. She is admittedly a sexual deviant and feels no remorse.
And her treatment plan?
Simply staying at Derceto should do wonders for Ruth. If not, at least for her family's reputation. Ruth doesn't need to change, but with therapy I might be able to share with her some sympathy towards her family. I doubt she will settle down and become as dull as the rest of them, but at least she might try to be more discreet in the future.
Looks like all the patients are accounted for. Except for, there's no way I can get into this thing. Better leave it alone. I need the key. I need the key.
Wow.
I need the key.
Lost Plantations of Louisiana, Thierry Briclot, 1917. Derceto was a small plantation on the eastern shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The land was considered difficult for industry and was sold for only $30 to Elijah Pickford in 1818. Pickford employed hundreds of workers from nearby New Orleans to clear the woods and build a small plantation mansion facing the lake with a striking Greek Revival temple facade. Derceto kept a modest production of Barrique tobacco and indigo that persisted up till the Civil War. During the antebellum era, Derceto was the source of many rumors concerning voodoo and witchcraft. People who traveled the lake reported seeing people dance at night in front of bonfires, bleating and wailing. On June 17, 1862, Captain J.W. Norton of the Union Army recounts leading a raiding party from ships anchored in Lake Pontchartrain in order to seize control of Derceto and free the slaves working there. The captain was surprised to find the workers fighting back with unprecedented zeal. Norton's account describes these men and women as enraged with fanaticism. Pickford reportedly tried to placate the raiders, but was shot in the confusion. Captain Norton left the mansion burning and retreated to his ships with his men. Derceto was left in ruins for several decades. The ownership of the land was long disputed and returned to the Ledoux family in 1901. Several police reports were filed during the following years as the Ledoux tried to get rid of a camp of squatters on their land. The police made several visits to remove the trespassers, but the people kept returning. On November 1st, 1907, Inspector Legras of the police charged a deadly attack in order to save several children kidnapped by the squatters. Many were killed, and even more were jailed. The following year, Ledoux rebuilt Derceto, incorporating the surviving stone foundation and adding a magnificent wrought iron conservatory. The farmland had been reclaimed by the surrounding woods, so it was no longer profitable to use as a plantation. Instead, the house was turned into an artist's colony. The Astarte Artist Colony was a successful group of artists, including figures such as painter Heinrich Cassel and poet Nora Keith. The group was also known for their beloved Mardi Gras crew called the Pirates of Pontchartrain. On September 29, 1915, a tropical hurricane tore through Louisiana, causing Lake Pontchartrain to flood New Orleans. Due to the remote location of Derceto, it took almost 2 weeks for outsiders to learn that the artist's colony was abandoned. The 12 residing artists had all vanished without a trace. The empty mansion of Derceto still stands on the shore of Lake Pontchartrain, with much of its temple facade intact. The Ledoux family currently has no intention of repairing the house.
They just do not tell you at all how to get this shotgun. They don't tell you if you can break the case. They don't say there's a lock on the case you need a key for. I looked it up. Apparently you need to get a thing called a langnape or whatever it's called. I don't speak Creole. And if you get 3 certain langnapes, the case just opens automatically and you get the shotgun. Cool, I guess. Pretty, yeah, not exactly explained anywhere.
It's wedged shut. What happened? Everything's normal
So,
again?
normally I don't really like this jump scare, otherworld, not joined by anything sort of thing, but it actually works in this game. Like, it didn't really work, in my opinion, in the first Evil Dead game. Not Evil Dead, Evil Within game, because it just seemed to be gory place number 1, and then surrealism, then gory place number 2, if you know what I mean. They weren't linked. At least with this game, certain areas are linked by mediums, at least in those areas. And there is some sort of suggestion about the areas when he comes back to the real world. Like, in one of the sections late game, he goes to rescue people from a car that drove off a bridge. and the person in the car grabs him and pulls him into the water, and he wakes up in like a bathtub of water. It's got that voodoo suggestion, magic, crazy thing about it, and I actually appreciate that a lot more than Evil Within's, oh, it's all surrealist, subconscious, and, one place to another place sort of thing, where it doesn't really make sense. At least here it makes sense. It's fine.
Sorry, Detective. Didn't mean to obstruct justice or anything.
That's fine.
I'm kind of busy with my own case of a missing person. I was wondering if you've seen Grace, a girl about yay high?
I can't say that I have. Why are you asking?
Well, I'm looking for her.
Is she in trouble?
No. She's just hiding somewhere. But we can't have a rascal like that running around unchecked at a time like this, you understand?
Well, I haven't seen her.
Well, let me know if you find her. I'll be around. I'll keep an eye out for your man, Jeremy. You scratch my back, Detective, and I'll scratch yours.
No idea why they add a hint of child predator to that character and then have it mean absolutely nothing. Besides possibly, I guess it just adds a little bit more foreboding to the story.
Looks like everything's back.
Kind of unnecessary.
Emily's here.
How eccentric. These paintings got some grim-looking rot on them.
I did it! I crossed the thresholds to my intended destination without a focusing device. My talisman now knows these roads, and I have no need for the plates. I can find my way to Lafayette as easy as I find my own room. I visited the grave of my father and seen the oven waiting for me. Thank you for opening these doors. I now must summon my courage and go back to that hateful mound outside the oil rig. I hope you'll be feeling better when I return. Jeremy.
The Astarte artist colony. I remember hearing about their disappearance. Must have been 15 years or more now.
Will I need to remember how to get them out again? They are locked up for good reason. I am sure she is still able to whisper the answer in the ears of the wrong people. But not for long. I will see her burned soon enough. That black goat will be sacrificed to put an end to it all. Then it will all be over. No more Derceto, and sadly, no Astarte. Those good pirates of Pontchartrain. May you still sail the lake, until you find the shores of Hali.
What are these symbols? Looks like alchemy, or star constellations. Got it. Looks like some kind of rot. What the hell? This must be the clock that Jeremy wrote about in the commonplace book. Huh. Looks like the plate that held the talisman in the seance room. But it's broken and missing some pieces. I need the key.
If You know, Mr. Waits, I saw a piece of the plate that Liza broke. I think she's been hiding them. She's not very good at it. She just chucked it into the little room with all the tools behind the boiler. I left it there. I didn't want to embarrass her by picking it up while she was looking. We went upstairs instead and played backgammon. I let her win, because she's so unhappy. The piece looked like the one on display in Cassandra's room. You know about that one already, right? Or is your eyesight really that fuzzy? I hope you don't feel bad about your glasses. You only look stupid when you squint. Maybe if you had more eyes, you would see these things. I wish you had all the eyes you needed. Your best and favorite guest, Grace.
I need the key.
Doing in my kitchen? I assure you. No,
I'm sorry.
I promise you. Mr. Hartwood is nowhere near my kitchen, and neither should you be. Don't make me kick you out of this house.
Sorry.
Now get out!
Yeah.
I also appreciate the sometimes quirky, goofy tone of the game. Like, it kind of just adds to all the crazy and all the unexplained shit. It's charming as well, and the original Alone in the Dark had a bit of that. It's not taking itself super seriously. And while it deals with sometimes some heavy stuff, particularly to do with lobotomy and all that sort of thing later on, to deal with a legitimately, Cthulhu crazy person, the lobotomy just seems to do the trick with them. It doesn't take itself super seriously, and because of the lighter tone, it's a much more enjoyable story. Like, it could just have a super heavy tone. Like, I've found that with some drama movies that just have a super heavy oppressive tone and just deal with absolutely depressing subject matter. Those are harder stories to get into. This one's a lot lighter. Has a bit of quirky subversion of expectation, has a bit of quirky comedy in it mixed in with it, and it is just charming. It's honestly a pretty good game. The last boss might be a bit fucking broken. You just seem to be, evil within, insta-killed by it sometimes for apparently no reason. But, yeah, decent game. It is for Alone in the Dark what Resident Evil 2 Remake was for reimagines it and surpasses it.
Got it.
Excuse me, I found a fucking what? What the fuck is going on in this game? I found a mummified cat. What the fuck? Why can I pick up a mummified cat? At least it's not a key item, I guess. You don't use the mummified cat to solve a puzzle. I guess it fits in the whole, you know, voodoo Creole thing, but yeah, it's kind of fucked up that they mummify cats. Of course I'm not gonna fucking shoot a cat. What do you think I am, some fucking, you know, middle-aged Greek guy that likes to kill neighborhood cats because he's fucked up? Of course I'm not gonna shoot a cat.
I think I've seen this somewhere. There was something in the commonplace book about this. think the clock broke. Or maybe it just stopped at a very precise place. There's a picture in the black glass. It's showing me something. It's the hallway outside Jeremy's room. I made it. I entered another one of Jeremy's memories.
I also like how the game leans into the deep south swamp rot theme. Rot and corruption theme. Like underneath the surface a little bit. It's cool how it does that. Like Resident Evil 7 did that as well. With the deep south slaughterhouse, rot, swamp rot, green corruption theme. It even has some cool enemy types as well. Like later on it gets a tick enemy type, and if you're ever going to get a tick, you're probably going to get one in the deep south and the swamplands.
Okay.
So it just works effectively. Just well designed.
Must be serviced. Any tampering causes large spills unless properly forestalled. Tuesday. Shipment delayed but delivered. Maintenance. Service bridge close to broken. Wednesday. Prospectors reluctantly agreed to show the burial mound to Mr. Hotwood, a painter, who read about our finds in the papers. He means to return tomorrow and try to find a way inside. Thursday. Mr. Hotwood's efforts delayed. The workers seemed nervous about his presence. Hotwood promised not to return to the compound. Instead, he has taken up an offer by L'Officier, the riverboat captain, who means to pilot him to the site tomorrow morning. Hopefully that's the end. Work can resume. Maintenance. Bridge from the oil tower to the bayou has collapsed. Sabotage suspected.
This is...
I need the key. Locked. Got it.
Look, I'm fine with this enemy type, but the fact that it burrows under the ground is a little bit reminiscent of the really shit Alone in the Dark games. Like one of them, it was on the Next Generation console, I can't remember, I only ever played a demo of it. But one of those had like darkness that followed you, and it seemed to be things burrowing into walls coming after you. And I think maybe that Alone in the Dark should steer clear from the lesser received titles. Like even the well received titles, like Alone in the Dark: A New Nightmare, had some pretty dumb goofy shit in it. Like a fucking random triple barrel shotgun or magnesium bullets for a double revolver. Like that's some dumb shit. This is like a lot more grounded than that.
It worked. pretty weak. I just need something to break it.